up the week in Jamaican politics and look at some of the topics dominating social media this week. First up, we'll look at Miss Nikisha Burchell, who is the embodiment of the desperation taking over the opposition benches this week. We saw the Member of Parliament for South St. James, Miss Burchell, going all over social media and TV news. She's taking cheap personal swipes at the Speaker of the House, the Most Honorable Juliet Holness. She's adamant that she will not apologize for dragging the Prime Minister marriage relationship into her public dispute and dragging down the political discourse with her apparent attention-seeking behavior. Why is she doing this? Simple. I give you two reasons. She has an obsession with Prime Minister Andrew Holness. She has vivid and colorful fantasies about the bro god. Two, she violated the standing orders in her recent speech. The Speaker held her accountable to the rules of the room. Now, she's carrying a heavy public grievance. She's trying to keep her name trending by dragging our political discourse straight into the dustbin. Let's be clear. Psychoanalysis tells us that when people are fundamentally insecure with their own substance, they use flashy superficial distractions as psychological armor. They try to tear down a strong, elegant woman because they can't match her poise. Listen to me carefully. This is a classic distraction tactic. When a politician has absolutely zero alternative policies for their community, they resort to personal gossip to get views, to get political cheap points. It is exactly like a person who does not know how to cook a decent meal for the family. They just stand in the kitchen banging empty pots and pans loudly, clang, clang, throwing things around, giving the impression that they're busy at cooking. They make all that noise hoping you won't notice that the plate they are serving you is actually completely empty. But the Jamaican electorate is too smart for cheap public tricks. We are hungry for performance, not performative noise. We are hungry for better, not bitter. Now let's look at issue number 2. The attack on Nara and the CEO distraction. While they are busy gossiping, Captain Andrew Holness is busy governing. This week, the National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority, NARA, Act officially became law. This is a massive historic climate reconstruction engine built to put roofs back over the heads of Jamaicans following Hurricane Melissa. But guess what? The opposition couldn't wait to run to the microphone to attack it. Instead of talking about the relief for our farmers and the rebuilding of our communities, they are throwing a temper tantrum over the appointment of the new CEO. And by the way, this CEO has served Jamaica with distinction over the years. He's not a foreigner who applied. He's not been given a bly. He's fully qualified for his appointment. They are actually going on television with slick insinuations, whispering to the public that the CEO didn't even apply for the position. Really? Look at the depth of their desperation. They want to turn a serious national reconstruction drive into an office gossip session. They want to tie up vital emergency relief in endless bureaucracy, red tape, and human resource arguments, all because they want to score a cheap headline over a job application. They love to tell you that the government's economic growth is just paper talk. But let's smash that lie right now with basic common sense. If the foundation of your house is completely rotten, the structure is going to collapse the minute the first rain falls. Because Andrew Holness and his team paid down the national debt, poured a solid financial foundation, the walls held when Beryl and Melissa hit. That fiscal discipline is exactly why the Ministry of Local Government is pumping direct capital infusion into our parishes today. That is why the Spark program has a massive 40 billion allocation specifically to pave secondary roads and clear local lanes. The money is there. The asphalt is mixing. We didn't build a paper foundation. We poured solid Jamaican concrete. While the people are waiting for the concrete mixers and the roofing materials, the opposition is busy playing HR manager, trying to hold back disaster relief for vulnerable Jamaicans over petty, unverified rumors. They treat a national crisis like a political game of poker. So, my friends, the choice this weekend is crystal clear. Do you want the politicians standing in the media mud making a circus out of our democracy? Or do you want the master builder who is modernizing our hospitals, giving free hard training to our youth, and protecting our farmers? They gossip while he governs. Drop a comment below and tell me if you prefer empty pots or solid concrete. Share this video, keep energized, and let's keep moving Jamaica steadily forward. Bless up and walk good, Jamaica. Have a safe and bright weekend. I rise to address a deep and troubling philosophical contradiction that has been recently played out on the floor of the upper house regarding the national disaster relief and housing reconstruction. During the recent legislative debate on the National Housing Trust Amendment Special Provisions Act 2026, the opposition benches aggressively put forward an amendment demanding a rigid statutory mandate to ring-fence $11.4 billion of NHD funds to build free houses for the victims of Hurricane Melissa. On the surface, they pose for the social media cameras as the emphatic champions of the displaced, but cold intellectual interrogation of the public record exposes an astonishing case of historical amnesia and political double standard. Madam Speaker, let us refresh the memory of this nation by looking back at what happened when Hurricane Ivan severely battered the housing stock of Jamaica. When that powerful storm flattened the homes of thousands of struggling citizens, a People's National Party administration sat in the seat of government. Let us look directly at the official records of the Office of the Prime Minister from October 2004 during the launch of their Rebuild Jamaica initiative. The then Minister of Water and Housing, Donald Buchanan, stood before the Jamaican public and formally declared the state's official doctrine, stating explicitly that the state financial assistance, and I quote, is not intended to replace totally destroyed units or to compensate to the level of loss sustained, as government is not an insurer of buildings. Madam Speaker, let us pause right there and ask a very serious, fundamental question tonight. What would be the reaction across the length and breadth of Jamaica if those exact words were uttered by our Prime Minister today? Just imagine our Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness, uttering those same words. Can you imagine the absolute outrage The screaming newspaper headlines, and the non-stop social media firestorm of this prime minister. If this prime minister stood before a family whose roof was ripped off and told them that the government is not an insurer of buildings, the opposition and their online troll factories would set the internet on fire. They would be printing banners calling for national shutdowns, weaponizing their unconstitutional online petitions to brand him as cold, heartless, and completely detached from the struggles of the Jamaican people. Yet, because those exact words were written in black and white in the history of the People's National Party's administration, there is a loud studio silence on their timelines today. Let the gravity of those words echo through this chamber. When they held the keys to execute power, their explicit philosophy was to tell suffering Jamaican families that you're on your own. Under their watch, a citizen whose entire home was completely erased by a catastrophic hurricane was handed a baseline cash grant of just $20,000 and told to sort themselves out. Go sort out yourself. That's what the government told our Jamaican citizens who suffered from Hurricane Ivan. Yet today, sitting in the opposition benches, their philosophy has miraculously shifted because they are desperate for political leverage. They shirk their own governance history and demand that this administration execute arbitrary, rigid housing mandates that they themselves explicitly rejected as untenable. When they rule, the citizens get a $20,000 pittance and a lecture on building insurance. But when they are in opposition, they demand the state build back every single brick. It is a double standard of epic proportions. The unassailable reality, Madam Speaker, is that while the opposition plays petty games with failed amendments, the elected government of the people of Jamaica, led by Prime Minister Andrew Holness, is actively delivering real world, structured relief without destroying our fiscal stability. This administration has already structurally deployed $1.9 billion in direct household grants, $4.6 billion for modular homes, and launched a $10 billion national roofs repair program. We are building back stronger and more resilient than ever before. This contrast reveals the ultimate truth for the Jamaican electorate. When the opposition is in power, they protect their political territory. But when they are out of power, they weaponize human suffering. They have never been about people power. They are entirely about political power. I thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank you all for following this channel. Please like, share. Walk good, my people. Have a great week. Madam Speaker, today I rise to briefly address a massive, laughable, ridiculous rumor blowing up the internet over the last 24 hours. Ever since one of the largest warships in the world, the nuclear-powered aircraft carrier USS Nimitz dropped anchor in Kingston Harbor, the PNP internet trolls have gone into absolute panic mode. They are actually posting videos claiming that the ship is parked in Kingston to launch a war against Cuba, and that the Holness administration has given America permission to fire missiles from our harbor. Jamaicans have a saying, Madam Speaker, that goes like this: when people don't like you, them give you a basket to carry water. Madam Speaker, the sheer depth of their ignorance is breathtaking. The scope of their mischief is aimed at the uninformed who consume and digest the headlines. They want you to believe that a routine diplomatic port visit is a Hollywood action movie conspiracy. Let us inject some cold, hard, unassailable facts to clear out this foolishness. First of all, the USS Nimitz is here for the Southern Seas 2026 Goodwill deployment. This is a routine multinational maritime tour that has been going on across the Americas for 11 years. Before it reached Kingston, this exact same ship made scheduled stops in Chile, Argentina, Brazil, and Panama. Are we supposed to believe America is invading Cuba by way of Brazil? The ship is here for a 5 day scheduled stay, and Jamaica is simply the proud final destination of its tour. Second, let us look at what these 4,000 sailors are actually doing while they are here. They aren't loading missiles, they are partnered with the Jamaica Defense Force to execute school refurbishment and painting projects across our communities. They are hosting youth football camps. They are giving advanced STEM and maritime operation tours to the students of the Caribbean Maritime University. Furthermore, there are currently 19 Jamaican and Jamaican American sailors serving proudly on board that very vessel. The opposition's internet trolls are so desperate to create fear that they are insulting our own flesh and blood who are visiting home on a friendship mission. Let's look at the bigger picture. When Hurricane Melissa battered our island last year, it was our strong international partnerships that allow us to recover quickly without bankrupting our country. Global allies respect Jamaica because our government operates with fiscal discipline and geopolitical stability. While the sailors are ashore spending money on local food, transport, and cultural hospitality, giving a direct economic boost to our grassroots vendors, the opposition is hiding in the corner, trembling, trying to turn a school painting project into World War III. This is what happens when an opposition party is intellectually bankrupt. They have no alternative plans to fix secondary roads, no plans to manage water pipelines, and no plans to build the economy. So, what do? They stand in the kitchen of public opinion, banging empty pots and pans loudly to create panic. Since they ran out of domestic gossip, they are now trying to beat the war drums over a routine naval visit that has been happening for decades. The only ship we focus on is our island in the Caribbean Sea. Jamaica is a majestic ship of state that operates with mature, respected international diplomacy. We are a zone of peace, a hub of regional safety, and a premium destination for global alliances. Let's reject the tinfoil hat conspiracy theories. Welcome the naval history docking in our harbor and keep moving Jamaica steadily and safely and powerfully forward. I thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you all very much for watching this video. I invite you to like, share, and follow. Walk good, Jamaica.